DVC fan, Paul, Amy, and we are also here with Mandy and Gray. And we were able to snag a last-minute opening day reservation to GEO-82 at EPCOT.
Yeah, this is the new adults-only lounge here at EPCOT, and very surprised. There's been a lot of last-minute availability here on opening day. It is a little bit rainy in EPCOT, so I wonder if that's maybe part of it. It's also a little bit overpriced, I think. I'm kind of saying that going into the reservation.
Yes.
So I think that's initial impressions before we go in and eat. But we're excited to go in, check it out, get some snacks, get a couple drinks, check out how great the views are, and bring you guys along. As always, this and all of our DVC fan content is brought to you by the world of DVC. DVC Resale Market, if you're looking to buy or sell a Disney Vacation Club contract. Monera Financial, who can assist in financing that DVC resale contract purchase. The DVC Rental Store, where you can try before you buy, rent some points or rent out your own points. And also Unlocked Magic, unlockedmagic.com/DVC fan, where you can purchase discounted Walt Disney World or Universal tickets. There's no real signage that shows you where the entrance to GEO-82 is, so the best way for me to explain it is on essentially kind of the Communicore Hall side of the Epcot Ball when you're entering Project Tomorrow. So you want to go in to Project Tomorrow, and then right to the left on the inside, on this side of the building, is where the hallway to GEO-82 is, and there's a little check-in desk there where you can then check in before you head upstairs.
All right, my first thoughts are that if your table's not ready, they have absolutely nowhere for you to sit. The little check-in area is very small. There's nowhere to sit inside there. It's just like ECV parking right now. And we're inside Project Tomorrow because that's where the waiting is. And as you can see, I'm just sitting on the floor. There's nowhere to sit, so. All right, so there is a small waiting area up here, but it's full, so that's why they didn't tell us to come up. We did get a text our table's ready. It's been a half hour. We came up. We still have to wait a little bit longer up here, but they said like maybe within the next 2 minutes. When you walk up, they give you a hand towel. It was rolled up and it's like scented. It's really cold, so in the summer, if you're really hot coming in from outside, this would be really good. Today, it's a little cold for me.
We were just seated at our table at GEO-82. It's kind of a very cute table. So Amy and I are on this side. That's like a little booth seated area. Very comfortable.
Yeah, I like the booth.
Yep. And then Gray and Mandy are across from us. I'll turn this around real quick. We've got Gray and Mandy, and they're in chairs over there. And we're kind of tucked away a little bit over here. We've got the bar off to the right of us. And then over to the left is where you have the wonderful I don't know what I'm saying. Windows that give you a wonderful view of Epcot. One word of warning coming to GEO-82, at least our assessment tonight so far, it is rather loud in here. The place is packed, it is opening day, but I don't think that, I imagine it is going to be busy, so I don't think anything's going to really change about how loud maybe this space is in terms of just everyone at their tables having a general conversation. So keep that in mind if you are coming here. It's not maybe that quiet, intimate spot. It's a little bit louder, but it is a fun place to be. Like, it's cool that we're kind of right behind Spaceship Earth. So, shout out already to Mimi, who is our server this evening. She has been wonderful and walked us very quickly through most of the drinks and the menu items here at GEO-82. All of the specialty cocktails being offered actually basically have kind of a culinary element to them. So like the brown butter old fashioned, that brown butter old fashioned, actually the brown butter is made and then it's put together with the Woodford Reserve bourbon, and those things kind of meddle overnight to get together. Then they actually strain out the butter, and that's what they're making your old fashioned with. Just such a creative menu with all kinds of different cocktails available. For the small bites tonight, we'll take you through them as we kind of get them, but we did order one of each of the small bites. There are 5 on the menu. So I'm excited to see what we think. Gray's wondering why we have chopsticks, so Amy is teaching chopsticks. Go ahead and take us through this demonstration.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, Gray doesn't know how to use chopsticks. So this one's going to be stationary, right? So this one doesn't actually move. So you're going to pin it between your middle finger and your thumb like that. Yep. And then this one's going to come in. And this is actually the one that you're going to be moving. So this one, it's actually easier if you get a little closer. So this one you're going to hold with your thumb and your index. And this is the one that like does all the movement, picks things up.
While they play with their chopsticks, I'm going back to cocktails. So in the menu, it does show kind of the cocktail key here. So there's specialty glassware for each cocktail, followed by specialty ice, and then the preparation of the cocktails. Mandy, you ended up getting something special too that like takes 3 days to prepare or something. What was it?
He knows I'm not going to be able to say this back, but it is what did I get? It's a strawberry and coconut. It's called a right hand. Apparently they have strawberries and they put it with the coconut.
Campari?
The what?
The Campari.
The Campari.
Yeah.
And the coconut.
Yeah.
Is that coconut Campari?
No, those are different things.
No. They put it with the coconut. And they have to let it sit for 24 hours, not 23, not 25. That's what Mimi said. And then they double strain it through coffee filters, and then they make the drink from whatever that is.
Something about creamy coconut as well. If I were going to order a drink, I would order that one, but she said it was spirit forward, which to me means strong, so I didn't want that.
Amy ended up going with a mocktail tonight with coffee because she needs a little pick-me-up. She spent 14 hours at Epic Universe yesterday, and apparently that takes it all out of Amy Krieger. You got the Manhattan in the morning?
Yeah, so it is, although this says spirit forward as well, and it's non-alcoholic. So Seedlip Spice 94 non-alcoholic spirit, Joffrey's Coffee Cold Brew, maple, whatever Verjuice Blanc means, something white, I don't know. Tart cherry, B Brothers Black Walnut Bitter. So it sounds like I could really love it or really not like it, because I like sweet coffee, but not real coffee.
We'll find out. Going back to the old fashioned that I ordered, Mimi also said that if you like the Werther's caramel stand in the Germany Pavilion, then you're gonna love this old fashioned. And I love everything about the Germany Pavilion, so I am going all in.
I was definitely not prepared. I was taking some B-roll and looking around and enjoying it, and then Mimi came up and everyone was ready except me. So while she was telling them about their drinks, I decided on the strawberry black pepper sour. I have no idea what it is. I will let you know when it comes, but it has Campari liqueur, maraschino liqueur, strawberry, and black pepper. So I'm excited.
talk about this mocktail a little bit. I will be quite honest with you. I know Paul thinks I'm not going to like anything. I'm finding this place very expensive. So $17 for the Manhattan in the morning mocktail. It's kind of small. It's like 3 ounces of liquid. It is a coffee-based. I know everybody's laughing at me. It is a coffee-based drink. I thought it would taste more like coffee. It actually tastes like Christmas. It tastes like malling spices, like the kind that you put in apple cider when you're heating it up. So it's not bad. It's just not my favorite mocktail, and it's also very, very small for the price.
Okay, I got the strawberry and coconut right hand. Mimi was not kidding when she said it is very spirit forward. In my mind has been a little off today. In my mind, I thought it was going to taste like a pina colada.
She said Miami Vice.
She did say Miami.
Miami Vice is strawberry daiquiri and pina colada.
See? But it doesn't. I will say it is interesting. I'm not getting a really strong strawberry or coconut flavor, but I like it. It's strong. It's $25, so it is very expensive. I got an ice cube, and there is no print on my ice cube, but it's good. Favorite drink, though, is Paul's drink. It's very tasty, actually, and it has cool ice, so I'll let him talk about it, but that's my favorite drink.
I don't remember what I got. The strawberry, black pepper, sour. Mine, I don't know how many ounces it is, but it's the same cup as Amy's, so I'm gonna go with 3 ounces. It is strawberry forward. It kind of tastes like a strawberry juice. It's not super strong. We'll see how I feel. It is $25. Would I pay? Never mind. It's pretty good. So I'm gonna finish it and see if I feel anything, because I'm a very lightweight, but we got to eat some food to balance it.
I apologize in advance for this video. It's been a long couple days for this crew. Most of the table just spent 14 hours at Epic Universe yesterday. Amy wouldn't like anything if it was amazing at the moment. I'm pretty sure. So
I would like a peanut and jelly twist cone. That would be amazing.
she's excited for what's after this, which I think we're already establishing the fact that we're going to need some more food and some more substance, even though we ordered the entire menu. I went with the brown butter old fashioned. It is $28. For the price, I think it is more of a value than the other drinks at the table, because they do describe it as a double old fashioned, which means that it is a little bit larger in size, which I can attest to that. It is a larger old fashioned compared to what you're used to on property, and I'm used to spending about $25 on an old fashioned on property. So the fact that it's 28 and it's almost double the size, I'll call that maybe the value of the night so far. It is the brown butter, amazing. It gives it amazing flavor. Those caramel elements are kind of through it. I did put the orange peel in. Mimi did recommend to try it pre and post orange peel, so that's wonderful. This is using a Woodford Reserve double oaked bourbon. This is the Disney Parks exclusive bourbon. I've mentioned this, I think, on our Epic Universe, but it seems like everyone's doing this now. Like, you go over and you pick out a couple barrels, and then you slap on the Disney Parks name, or you slap on the Universal Epic Universe name. We've been on cruise ships. We have a bottle of Woodford Reserve from Icon of the Seas, which has the Icon of the Seas exclusive blend, as they call it. So that doesn't mean too much, but the process of the brown butter and how that integrates into your drink, I think, is just very unique to this restaurant. The fact that they are kind of doing a special twist of that nature on all of these drinks kind of elevates them a little bit more. As Gray almost said, would I pay the price for this again? I'm not quite sure if I would on some of these beverages. You know, you could definitely go to a more quiet and a place that kind of meets the sophistication that this is trying to pull off. I'm thinking of Enchanted Rose. I think it's a much nicer atmosphere there as compared to what it is here. but can't necessarily knock what they're trying to do here because the food looks amazing. It just arrived at the table, so we're gonna dig into that. Our small bites have arrived. We did order all 5 small bites on the menu, so the first 3 Mimi suggested come out first. First up, we had the charcuterie board for $29. This is a chef's selection of artisanal cheeses, cured meats, and accoutrements. We have the cannellini hummus for $14, pumpkin seed, radish, preserved lemon, Fresno peppers, and papadum. And then the third that came out so far is the truffled ahi tuna. This is comes with a soy truffle ponzu that they actually sprinkle over top of it, citrus scallions, black sesame seeds. Of the 3, I would probably say that I love a good charcuterie board, so you can't go wrong there. There's just so many flavors to go with, and you just combine them in a variety of different ways. I'm not sophisticated when it comes to like a charcuterie board. I just kind of combine things, a little meat, a little cheese, a little honey, a little bit of jam. There's some pickles on this plate that actually, it is the chef's grandmother's recipe that these pickles are, and they are absolutely amazing. So, loved the charcuterie board. I would say second best for me so far is the ahi tuna. Love the elements of the citrus. It is a very fresh tuna. It is a very light, not fishy flavored. So if anyone's kind of doesn't like fish, I don't think you would kind of object to this ahi tuna. And then I think probably in the bottom position is the cannellini hummus. It just doesn't have a lot of overall flavor. What's bringing it flavor is probably the accompaniments, so the peppers and things like that. And Amy will tell you what she thinks of the crackers because, yeah, she just has a strong opinion on those.
Okay, so the hummus had a good flavor. So hummus is normally made with chickpeas. This is made with I'm going to say it wrong, but like cannelloni, like the white beans. So it's a different type of hummus. It's a different texture. I thought the hummus flavor was good. You don't get a whole lot. And then the papadum, to me, papadum, it's usually served like Indian dishes. It's like a wisp of a cracker. You know what I mean? Like it's what I feel like. If you whisper the word cracker, that's what you're gonna get. It just falls apart very easily. I just can't help but think. So the hummus was $17. I can't help but think that for $18 at Flora Taverna, which is over in Helios, which we have a dining review coming out for that later soon. We went on Monday, but for $18 at Flora, you get what is the best hummus of my life: pitas, red pepper relish, and olives. And even though I'm not an olive person, I think that's a better value than $17 for this small amount of hummus and a couple pieces of papadum that you can barely scoop it up with. But Paul liked the charcuterie. There were a couple things with the charcuterie I like. I thought the pickles were very good. That was like the head chef's grandma's recipe. Those were great. The blue cheese was nice. There were some flavors on there I didn't love. I'm not really a big on like the charcuterie meats, like the imperial jamon. They had that throughout Barcelona. I wasn't in love with it, but $29 for that charcuterie, so that's kind of expensive. And then the tuna just wasn't my thing. Now there's a lot of flavors here and a lot of like really specially crafted cocktails that people are gonna like. It's just not up my alley.
Unlike Amy, no, I do agree with Amy in terms of like the pricing and everything. I think you have to think about this as like it is probably like a special occasion, something fun, different, unique to try, not like your everyday like, oh, I'm going to come to EPCOT and have dinner. I think it's more a special occasion because it is really neat to hear the stories about the drinks and how those are crafted. In terms of the plates that we got so far, I did really like the charcuterie. It did have a lot of really good flavors. The Wagyu that we had on ours was really tasty. The the blue cheese. I love blue cheese, and so it was really good. And did you talk about the pickles? The pickles are like the executive chef's. You already talked about this. Yeah, the executive chef's grandma recipe, and they are good. It is a good pickle. And I really enjoyed the tuna. I loved the flavor combination of the citrus with the tuna. I thought was paired really, really nicely. So again, like I do think it's more of a special occasion because of the pricing on it, but there are some really good flavors. I did not like the hummus at all. The end.
I tried a little bit of everything. I have never done like ahi tuna. Really, I'm a little bit of a pickier eater. I'm getting better, but it wasn't my jam. Based on Mandy's review, and I think my fiance would have probably loved it because it was very fresh tasting, like Paul had mentioned. I agree that you really need some type of pita bread or something with the hummus so you can actually like get some substance. But the hummus itself had a pretty good flavor. And finally, the charcuterie I think was probably the best value. Like you said, there's a lot of shareable options. It's really hard to get out of my mind that I could probably like sprint to Baseline Tap House in like 18 minutes. I think I could run an 18-minute run over to Hollywood Studios. We can try it. Everyone's giving me a bewildered looks. There's no way it's more than 2 miles. Anyways, I could run over there and get a charcuterie plate for $13. That's like a lot more substantial. I think it has, and you can get extra bread if you ask. So the value is hard to get with, but overall, that was my favorite dish, was the charcuterie plate still.
As we fit the halfway point of this dining review, please tune in next week for when Gray runs from EPCOT to Hollywood Studios and goes to Baseline Tap House. No.
In 15 or less minutes.
In 15 or less minutes. I'll be very impressed by that if he can run that fast. So. Everyone else tapped out on drinks, but I did go for a second round because Mimi convinced me of such. I went with the Peach Shrub Whiskey Smash, which is $26. This is Toki Suntory Whiskey, which I believe she said is a Japanese whiskey. It is the first time a Japanese whiskey has been featured in a Disney signature cocktail, she said. It also has sherry, peach and mint shrub bubbles, the same peach chutney that is served on the charcuterie board. That is what kind of integrates into this drink as well. So I'm excited to kind of see it and try it.
Okay, so I just ordered the Brulee Banana Highball, which is a lot. There's some whiskey, there's some sherry, banana, coffee, there's bubbles. The price is $26, but there's 2 culinary elements to it. Well, really like 3, I guess. The first one is they take this whiskey and they put it together with like clove and cinnamon, and they put it in a plastic bag and they sous vide it. And then they strain it, and then there's a banana. There's a banana that they brulee here at the bar, and then there's a third piece too, and I don't remember what that was.
The rest of our appetizers have arrived, and they are the jumbo lump crab grotto. I'm going to mispronounce it. It's a crab cake. So basically, smoked cheddar, pickled mustard seed. You could really taste the mustard. A lemon vinaigrette, supreme caviar. I eat a lot of crab, and I love crab cakes. And this was actually one of my least favorite crab cakes. It was just strange. I don't know. And I'm not a caviar person. To me, caviar tastes like you're getting punched by the ocean. Like just a whole face full of salt water. So, and kind of very fishy. But didn't love the crab cake, $25. I did, however, love the fungi flatbread. It is roasted mushrooms, miso mascarpone, mozzarella fontina, pickled red onion, black garlic, molasses. That was the best dish. It was amazing, but it was very small. We each got one single small little triangle. I could eat a whole one of those. That was $15. That was worth it to me. I would eat that again. The other things I could probably do without. So that's just my opinion.
Quick thoughts on the Peach Shrub Whiskey Smash. I did enjoy this. It is a lighter beverage, kind of to follow up the old fashioned that I had. Very surprised. It has sparkles to it, so it has bubbles to it, which I was unexpecting. So Mandy really enjoyed my reaction on the first sip when I was like, "Ooh!" Like I didn't expect kind of the sparkliness of the bubbles. The peach flavor is in there. Not really any really boozy flavors coming from this drink, so it's very refreshing. A nice palate cleanser after kind of most of the meal that we've had so far. Amy talked about some of the other appetizers. I will say that the flatbread probably wins so far in terms of overall flavor. Loved kind of the flatbread. Wish it was a lot bigger than it was. Wish it was the size of this table, because still we're all kind of hungry. And the crab was, one, not the hottest that it could be when it arrived at the table. Amy talks about food being hot more than I do. I don't know why she's holding the menu open at the moment.
I wanted to see the drink and then I just got confused.
It was a great backdrop to my entire explanation. But it wasn't as hot as I expected it to be. And overall, I just not really what Mimi, our server, she has been amazing, and every recommendation she's made tonight so far has hit the mark. This is the one where she actually said that she had 2 of these in training and loved both of them. We are not going to finish the one that we ordered because we did not necessarily like it. So take that for what it is.
So as Paul had just mentioned, I'm following up and saying that the flatbread's the winner for me. The fungi flatbread was really good. We could probably all have eaten an entire one for sure. So that was definitely the winner. I'm not super crab cake fan. I tried it and I don't have sophisticated enough thoughts about crab to have an input. So trust Amy and Paul's inputs more than mine. But overall, the environment is great. And what I will say is the highlight of the night for me has been Mimi, our server. The stories, I was telling Mandy that I usually get a little bit uncomfortable when like servers are like talking for a long time. I don't know what to do, but it's been so enjoyable to actually hear the stories. And there seems to be a story behind every single cocktail. So it could be a fun thing to come try other ones or bring family. And it's almost like you get to try the drink by hearing about it. So that part has been really enjoyable for sure.
Overall, I stand by what I originally said about I do think that for the price, this is definitely kind of like a one-time special occasion, like type special event, doing something, celebrating type atmosphere. But I do agree with the table that the fungi flatbread was probably the best. For me, I think it's a close second or maybe tie with the tuna. I really enjoyed the tuna. I thought it had really great flavor. So that was really good. I did end up having the brulee banana highball, which was probably my favorite drink. I really enjoyed Paul's drink with the brown, sugary, bourbon, birdery. That sounds like that guy.
Brown butter.
Yes. That was really good, but I do really enjoy this. I love banana. It does not have like a strong banana flavor, but it's a really soft flavor. Mine also has the bubbles like Paul's peach smash, so it's kind of like refreshing. I would definitely say this is probably a really nice like after kind of eating, after dinner, after you have the small plates kind of drink. So overall, like I do think, again, like it's good for a special occasion. Some of it's a little bit pricey, but the drinks have been my favorite. Listening to Mimi just tell the story about the drinks, just all of the different culinary aspects that they give and that they do. It's very, very special, and I think the experience makes it. The end.
We're coming near the end of our meal here, and the check did arrive. It is $269. That is before tip tonight. So again, we had a little bit of everything. We had cocktails for the table, and half the table had a second round of cocktails. So it is what it is. If you were coming to EPCOT, if you're coming to any establishment and buying drinks at Disney, that's going to be a pricey kind of experience for you.
One of the highlights of the evening for me here just happened a couple minutes ago. So Dave, who is either the manager, the general manager of the restaurant, again, it is opening day. So there's definitely a lot of cast members. We saw some Imagineers actually around a little bit earlier as well. But Dave sat down with us and just talked to us kind of about the inspiration here. So a couple of things as you are coming into this, and I'm relying on Gray a little bit to hopefully get some B-roll that I can put over this to kind of explain it a little bit more. But as you are coming into the restaurant, things to note, what did he call the panels?
There's no way I remember.
No.
It was a word that I couldn't even. It's the same panels that they use for Spaceship.
Yeah, so
basically touch them a little bit here.
Basically the panels that are on the outside of Spaceship Earth. So this is the only place on property that you can actually touch these panels. This is not the outside of Spaceship Earth, so actually they are gold panels. What Dave explained is that originally when they were going to build Spaceship Earth, the intent was that they were going to build this with gold panels, but it turned out that it got too hot. So that's why they went with the silverish color instead. But they used those same panels to build this restaurant and build around the bar, which is really the highlight of the establishment. As you come in the space as well, make sure you look at the floor as you're walking through kind of the hallway into the lounge, because that gives a nod to, if you remember, the fiber optic panels or the fiber optic concrete that used to be in this area of the park. That should remind you of that. Also, as you come in, make sure you look up into the lounge, because the spheres or the spherical kind of lights that are in here, they do basically make a hidden Mickey as you're coming in. So the first impression you have is seeing that hidden Mickey effect. And also all of those spheres and a lot of the lighting within the lounge at night will actually change colors, as does all of this World Celebration area. So as kind of the shows are going on throughout the night, those lights are going to be changing colors as well. Last but not least, Dave said as we head out, to make sure that if we are going downstairs, to go down the stairs themselves and look up at the ceiling. If you remember the end of Spaceship Earth, if you have ridden the ride and you're kind of going backwards down that hill at the end of the ride, you'll remember all of those little fiber optic lights. And as you are headed out of this lounge and you look up at the ceiling walking down the stairs, he did mention, hold on to the handrails, please. But you should kind of be reminded of the end of that ride. There are only 90 seats here in GEO-82, and so it is one of the most exclusive reservations. 90 seats.
Yeah.
So
and if you're doing the dessert party, it's only, I can't remember, like 24 or something.
Barely 30 seats. So they obviously, for the dessert package, which is a little bit more money, a lot more money actually, they have a limited number of seats. They want to make sure that you get a good view. He also explained to us how they're using a very exclusive champagne as part of that, and using exclusive cocktails that are only for that fireworks viewing party. So they've put a lot of thought into kind of what they're doing up here. And they do, I think, realize, in us talking with him, they realize that this space is kind of for a special occasion or a special event, a 50th birthday celebration, an engagement, an anniversary, something that is very, very special, which is why you'd want to come up here and spend that amount of money. Any final thoughts, Amy?
From a Imagineering standpoint, I do think all of those touches are really cool, and I'm gonna pay a little bit more attention when we leave to seeing all the things that what was his name that talked to us for a little bit? Dave, yeah, was talking about, because it is really neat and it's beautiful up here and the view is very beautiful. The food really isn't my favorite, except for the mushroom flatbread. The drinks, I'm not a drinker, per se. I like Arbor Mist, so I like things that taste like juice. And these are all very crafted, strong cocktails. So you have to be into that, which a lot of people are. So there are a lot of people that are really going to enjoy this atmosphere, enjoy this menu. For me, I'm going to probably spend my money somewhere else, but don't knock it because I don't like it. So
this was really fun. Being here on the opening day is obviously very exciting. I think they touched on it being a very like special occasion type of environment with very limited seats. So I totally agree. I think this is somewhere where, you know, if I was on a vacation like with my fiance, it would be a fun place to come to get a nice view. But overall, it's not necessarily somewhere I would just come frequent as a local. But it's been very fun, and I do agree that the Imagineering is awesome. And I'm sure on the way out, we're all going to be like mouths agape as we look at all the stuff that we just learned. I almost wish you could get like a brochure before you come in that pre tells you some of these stories so that you kind of notice those details on the way in. But we'll catch them on the way out for sure.
We've wrapped up our meal at GEO-82. It was a wonderful to experience, kind of a grand opening day. Those are special events. We met a couple of DVC fans in there as well. And like they said, and even Mandy said this, it's cool to be at Walt Disney World when they're doing something new because special things happen. That special thing today was that each of us got the special commemorative GEO-82 wine glass on our way out. These will be for sale moving forward with the restaurant, as well as a highball glass that they have with kind of the same pattern on this as well with the GEO-82 logo. And this is roughly, I would say, $25. I think it's going to be when they actually open. So the fact that between the four of us, $100 basically, we each got a wine glass. Pretty cool that we get to leave with this on opening day.
It's beautiful. It's made in Italy, so that's a really cool aspect. And they said they gave it to us when we were leaving downstairs, and so they said, you know, as part of being here for opening day, you get a commemorative wine glass. So that was a cool touch for being here today.
For sure. And Spaceship Earth is the icon of EPCOT. So the fact that it now has a lounge, the fact that it is a special exclusive place that you can come to and celebrate special occasions. This will not be the last time that we will be there. It will be a special occasion place, just given the price of the entire evening for us. But yeah, I think Amy and I will be back if we're celebrating an anniversary or birthday.
I'd like to try the firework.
The firework package sounds very fun. Dave actually talked a little bit about all the exclusive drinks and everything and what goes into that. There's a lot more Imagineering that happens at these places than what meets the eye. So take in all of those elements because that's part of what you're paying for here. But I think that's going to do it for our grand opening review of GEO-82 here at EPCOT. We hope you enjoyed it. If you've made it to the restaurant, let us know in the comments what you think. Like and subscribe to the DVC Fan YouTube channel for joining in on the conversation at dvcfan.com and the DVC Fan Facebook group. And for bonus behind the scenes coverage, head to our Patreon, patreon.com/DVCFan.